Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Unpacking Coco Gauff serve struggles. Insights from a former pro that you can't miss. The serve is the only shot in tennis you control completely. No opponent, no rally, no chaos. Just ball, toss, motion, intention. That's why, when a serve falters, it echoes louder than any missed forehand. And for Coco Gauff, one of the most gifted athletes of her generation, those echoes have recently grown impossible to ignore. From the outside, the conversation sounds harsh. Double faults, tight motion, second serve pressure. But behind the numbers is a far more human story, one that a former pro understands intimately. Because every player who has stood on a big court knows this truth. When your serve stops trusting you, it feels like the ground beneath your game is shifting. This is not a takedown. This is an unpacking. A former pro's eye. Why the serve is different. When a former professional watches Coco Gauff serve, they don't see a flaw, they see a conflict. The conflict isn't physical strength. Coco has more than enough. It isn't work ethic. That's unquestionable. The conflict lives in the space between athletic instinct and technical obedience. A former pro once put it this way: when your serve struggles, it's usually because you're trying to remember instructions instead of trusting rhythm. And Coco's serve right now looks like a shot that's thinking too much. The mechanics, too many thoughts at the line. Coco's ground game is fluid because it's reactive. She reads, she moves, she responds. Her serve, however, is isolated, performed under silence, expectation, and self-awareness. From a former pro's perspective, three things stand out. 1. The toss becomes a question. The ball toss is the heartbeat of the serve. When it's consistent, everything flows. When it's not, panic creeps in. Coco's toss sometimes drifts slightly behind, slightly too far right. These aren't dramatic errors. But at the elite level, small doubts create big hesitations. A former pro notices how often she pauses mid-motion, subtly adjusting instead of committing. That pause? It breaks rhythm, and rhythm is everything. 2. Muscle memory versus coaching layers. Elite players collect advice like luggage. Each coach adds refinement. Each fix solves one problem but can introduce another. Coco's serve shows signs of layered instruction. Shoulder positioning, wrist snap, knee bend, pronation, all correct, all valuable. But when too many checkpoints exist in one motion, the body stops flowing. A former pro recognizes this immediately. The best serves feel reckless, but they're actually rehearsed freedom. Right now, Coco's serve looks rehearsed without the freedom. 3. Second serve fear is louder than first serve power. The most telling sign of serve trouble isn't the first serve. It's the second, on second serves. Coco sometimes decelerates instead of committing to spin and shape. That's not a technical issue. That's trust. Former pros call this playing not to miss, and it's the fastest way to lose control of the serve. The irony? Her kick serve has the potential to be a weapon. The mental weight. When youth meets expectation. Coco Gauff has been under a microscope since her teens. Every flaw is magnified, every struggle debated. A former pro knows what that does to a serve. You start protecting it. You start guiding it. You stop swinging freely. Serving becomes less about starting the point and more about surviving it. And here's the cruel paradox. The more you protect your serve, the more fragile it becomes. A former pro remembers this feeling vividly. I didn't lose my serve because I couldn't hit it. I lost it because I didn't want to double fault in front of everyone. Sound familiar? Why this isn't a crisis? Here's the part you can't miss. Serve struggles at Coco's age are not red flags. They're rites of passage. Many of the greatest servers in tennis history struggled early. The difference between those who solved it and those who didn't came down to one thing: patience. Coco's athleticism gives her a higher ceiling than most. Her ability to read the game buys her time, and her work ethic ensures the problem won't be ignored. A former pro sees opportunity here, not danger. The fix isn't radical, it's emotional. Fans often want dramatic solutions. New motion, new coach, new grip. Former pros know better. The fix usually comes from 3 subtle shifts. 1. Simplify the pre-serve routine. Less thinking, fewer cues, one rhythm, one intention. Serving is not a checklist, it's a song. 2. Reclaim the second serve. Commit to spin. Swing faster, not safer. Accept the occasional miss in exchange for long-term control. Confidence is built through permission to fail. 3. Separate identity from outcome. Coco doesn't need her serve to prove anything. The moment she stops asking it to carry expectation, it will breathe again. Former pros learned this late. Coco is learning it early. The bigger picture. Coco Gauff is not being exposed. She's being shaped. Serve struggles are uncomfortable because they force honesty. They strip away autopilot and demand ownership. And when solved, truly solved, they elevate a player from contender to champion. A former pro watching Coco today doesn't see weakness. They see a player standing right before a breakthrough. Because once the serve stops being a question, everything else gets louder. Final thought. The serve will come, not because it must, but because Coco Gauff is too intelligent, too driven, and too resilient for it not to. And when it does, the conversation will change. The same voices that question will marvel. The same moments that tighten her arm will sharpen her edge. That's how tennis works. That's how champions are built. And that's the insight you can't afford to miss. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.